This is Trainer Talk the podcast, brought to you by Sharon Gaskin of the Trainers Training Company and me, Jeanette Tessier of the Get That Gang. In our weekly show, we cover news and views from our businesses along with a top-of-mind topic. Of course, it wouldn't be Trainer Talk the podcast without the Dog Walking Digest, and every now and again we invite a guest along to share their experience and expertise. After 90 episodes of just audio, we're now on YouTube as well. So feel free to catch up there. Just search for the Trainers Training Company or the Get That Gang, or download us on audio only through your favourite podcast streamer. So why not sit back with a cuppa, make that journey or chore go a little bit quicker with our weekly inspiration for developing your training business. 3, 2, 1. Welcome. This is Trainer Talk the podcast, and we're at episode number 105. So, Sharon, how are you doing? How's the weather down in Welsh Wales?
When you should say that, oh my goodness me! Just had the weekend. Obviously, it's Monday morning as we're recording this, and Saturday. And some of Sunday, but pretty much Saturday it was a monsoon, I think. A South Wales monsoon is the only way of describing it, really. I've never seen so much rain in all my life in May.
Yeah. It's been a particularly odd month for weather this month, I feel, don't you?
God, it just didn't stop raining, and not only was it just raining, it was cold and it was windy, and it was, honestly, it felt like it was November and not May.
Yeah, totally.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
completely. I'm sitting here with 2 jumpers on Saturday. It was ridiculous.
Very, very odd weather for sure. I've been saying to a few people that with the lighter evenings, it feels really odd because it doesn't feel warm enough to have evenings that light. If that makes
I know. Yeah,
strange.
It's really weird. I mean, normally in May we're sort of sitting out in the garden in the evening, aren't we? That's May and June, and when we get, if we're going to get any nice weather, that's generally when we get it. But not this year. That is for sure.
Well, I tell you what, 2020 and 2021 have got their own agenda, their own destiny to fulfil. We're just along for the ride. That's what it is.
Yeah, sounds like it. So but in the midst of this monsoon over the weekend, I had no choice but to sit here and do some work, which we will come on to. But the other exciting thing that we did, we made a trek down to the kitchen showroom because if you recall, last week we were going to go and with the new house that we're buying, we were going to go and we went round there with the builder to double check whether or not we could knock this wall down and put in a wood burner and do these various things.
Very exciting.
And the good news is that the builder didn't go, so it was all doable.
We wondered last week, didn't we?
We did. So that's really, really good news to report that it's all doable. So absolutely fine. But then Thursday, so that was Thursday afternoon we went, but then Thursday night I woke up, I let Jem out, obviously at whatever time, at 4:30 or whatever. And normally I go back to sleep straight away, but I just couldn't get back to sleep. And I was thinking about this flipping kitchen. And I was just thinking, even when we take the wall down, I'm not sure whether there's enough space. If you take a wall down, there's that, you lose all that cupboard space, and I'm not sure whether there's enough space. And literally, it got to the point where I was almost like having a panic attack. I could feel, I was,
oh my goodness,
everything was going right. I was really stressing about it. So I thought, I'm not having this. So Friday, I rang the kitchen people who were obviously the people that we just bought the kitchen from, and I was like, hello, do you remember me? And they're like, yeah, like, you're not going to believe this, but we're thinking of moving house, and we're thinking about having a new kitchen. We're like going, what?
So, yeah, I'm sure they're not too upset at the prospect of you spending a lot of money with them again.
No, I'm sure. But anyway, the upshot of it was we went down on Saturday with the measurements of the, like a floor plan. Obviously, not doing a full design, but just so that I could have peace of mind in terms of what would the options be, and space,
good idea.
That, the other. Totally great, absolutely fantastic. So came away reassured that So I've decided now that I'm not going to worry about it anymore.
Oh.
I'm just gonna let what will be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna, because it will go on for months, because house purchases at the moment are just taking ages.
Yeah.
They just seem to blame COVID for everything these days, don't they? Is that really?
Well, it's an easy excuse, isn't it? Very easy excuse.
So I've just kind of resigned myself that it probably will jog along, and I'm just kind of trying to just sort of forget about it, really.
Yeah.
Until I'm not going to worry about it anymore. What will be, will be.
Absolutely right. Good. All right. So what else in business land for you last week?
Yeah, business land. Yeah. Oh, and also we must report about being back at the gym.
Oh, yes.
That was really exciting last week. So Wednesday was my first day back at the gym. I felt so excited. I felt like a kid. I felt like it was the first day at school.
Yeah, exactly.
Excited.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait. To get there. And then it was like, walked in. I couldn't hug Ian, my trainer. I was like, I want to go like this. Hello.
Oh.
Soon changed my tune when I saw that devil bike sitting there. But,
Instruments of torture. Yep.
Oh, and then I basically could barely walk on Thursday, and then add Friday to the mix. I could barely get a top over my head, and after having done all the weightlifting and stuff. But hey, but it's nice to be back.
Yeah,
nice
definitely. Good.
So that was exciting.
Okay.
That was really exciting. And so on the work front, what has happened, I started the first week of the More Than Membership program.
Very exciting. Yep.
Very exciting indeed. Listeners will know that this was something that kind of was in my head, but took a little while to come to fruition, largely because of my imposter syndrome around it.
There was a little bit of coaxing happening, wasn't it? Come on, it'll work.
That coaxed me into it, because I was kind of, but I've got these membership. I don't know enough to run a course about it, and who am I to be teaching people memberships when there are all these other gurus out there who do it so much better than me, etc., etc. So I was going through all that, but yeah. So actually, it was not only you that I have to blame for this, but Audrey Bodman, a member of our Training Talk community.
Yep. Good work, Audrey.
She has been desperate to kind of, create and grow a membership. It's been on her agenda for quite some time. She was also nagging me and saying, "Oh, Sharon, I want to learn from you about memberships." And I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll put a course together. And if you're the only person that signs up, then that's fine, because I will just run it for you, Audrey."
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely. And you would have done as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have done. I absolutely would have done.
Yeah.
So it did actually come to pass. It is live. It is a thing. We are in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And week 1 was all about setting yourself up for success. And, thinking about fundamental questions like, why do you want a membership, and what are the different types of membership that there are out there, and why do people join, and why do people stay? And also I dived into, the trouble with memberships. So, it was a bit of a kind of warts and all. Hope I didn't put too many people off, but I thought it was really important to kind of cut through the hype of it all, because there is a lot of hype around.
Completely. It's such an important thing. I think it's the same with online courses as well. Pre-recorded online courses. It's so important to say to people, here's the reality of doing this stuff, because otherwise people can get so far down the road that they kind of feel like they have to keep going. It's the sunk cost fallacy, isn't it? They spent so much time and money on it that they have to keep going, even if it might not actually be the right thing for them. With online courses, I've got a quiz, for example, type thing that I take people through to say, are you ready for them in your business yet? And it's not to say that you can't do it without these things in place, but if you don't have these things in place, it will be so much harder a task. And I can imagine it's the same for membership, isn't it? You need to know the reality of this in order to make an informed decision about whether or not it is worth your while, because it will take a lot of time, energy and effort to get it to that first stage, won't it? To get it to the place where you can say to people, hey, I have a membership, come on, why don't you join? So
Yeah. And one of the biggest, my biggest bugbears really about this whole thing in terms of the hype around it is, and one of the points that I made on Monday was that this whole, thing about predictable recurring revenue, because that is what all the gurus say, that, oh, it's great to have a membership because why should you have a membership? Well, you should have a membership because it's predictable recurring revenue. To which I said, there is nothing predictable about recurring revenue. And, and anybody who says that is talking out of their what's-it, frankly, because and why it is unpredictable recurring revenue, in my opinion, because why is it unpredictable? Because you're dealing with people.
Oh, completely.
And people are unpredictable, So it's been interesting. But I've just done a catch-up session, which is a session that we have every Monday at 10 o'clock, where we kind of, review the learning from the previous week. And we have plenty of people turning up for that. So it would appear that I haven't put people off too much, which is good.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. And of course they would. Why wouldn't they? And I think it's worth pointing out as well that I believe that those people that come at it from the point of view of you should have a membership because of the recurring revenue, that's the wrong way to think about it. You don't create a membership because of the income stream. You create a membership because it's the right thing to do for your audience, and it's the right thing to do for your business model, and it's the right way to get your stuff out there to people. That's the way to look at it. If you start with the money, then you're coming from the wrong energetic place to get woo-woo about it. It's the wrong energy to begin with. Plus also, your course is not just about membership. That's why it's called More Than Membership. It's about setting up a community. And if you are coming at it from the point of view of I want to get recurring revenue, you're definitely not coming from a place of thinking about a community, are you? You're thinking about it in terms of the numbers. Well, anybody can set up a kind of a membership that is just a transactional thing, and try and get people to pay them X amount per month, and it's all a numbers game and volume and all the rest of it. If you're trying to set up a community, that is a very different thing. And I would like to think that most people in our sphere and who are attracted to the sort of stuff that you do and the sort of stuff that I do are more about the value that they can deliver to people than about the money that they can get out of it. Wanting to go after money is not a bad thing. This is not what I'm saying. Money in itself and being attracted to making money is not an evil thing. It's not a bad thing. But you've got to think about the way in which you are going to get money, and that has to chime with your other values, which, if you're in the information giving business, should be about helping people. But it's in my opinion. Right, so that's just where I'm coming from, and I know that's where you're coming from as well.
No, absolutely. So that's all been, it's been good fun this week. And having said that, there is one aspect of this More Than Membership program that I'm not enjoying. And what do you think that might be, Jeanette?
Would it be the slide designs, Sharon? Would it be putting together all those lovely PowerPoint slides that you do for each of your sessions? It's not your favourite thing in the world, is it?
It is not my favourite thing. Never has been, never will be. And just the fact that it's a 6-week program, which means that I have got the prospect now, the very real prospect. And it's a good job it was raining on Saturday, that every weekend I will be preparing my training session for the following week.
But you only have to do it 6 times and then it's done.
I know.
It's like an online course. You just have to do it once and then it's done.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to running the program again if there is a next time, because I won't have to go through this painful process of doing the training sessions every week.
Well, you're going to get some fabulous testimonials from people doing it this time around. So of course, we'll have a next time. I'm sure there will be. Sure there will be.
Yeah. We will see. And on that point, I guess about the running the More Than Membership sessions, spending my weekends creating the training materials. And then it chimed in with that. Obviously, we ran the complete trainer module on Friday for members who were on our complete trainer program. And this month the topic is outsourcing or support. And so having spent a long time talking about my outsourcing journey and this wonderful team of people that I've got around me to do things, I was just so concerned at the weekend that I just always seem to have so much to do.
Yeah.
To the point where, when was the last time? I don't have a weekend because I'm always working. Even when I take my month off in August, it's not really a month off. No. It's a month off Zooms, but it's not a month off the business. And in sort of 11 years of running this business, I have never had, I don't go away on holiday where I shut the laptop and go, I'm not going to look at this for 2 weeks like a normal person would. I just don't. And I'm like, this is really weird.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel the same, but then I have to remind myself that if I do have a day where I don't open the laptop, and I can think in the last year and a bit, there have been maybe 2 days that I can think of where I didn't open the laptop. And Christmas Day was not one of them. But, moving swiftly on, it's kind of, I don't mind. I don't mind. What I mind is feeling like I don't get to have any kind of weekend because I have to open the laptop. But if I have the opportunity to think, I feel like working on that thing, that's a totally different prospect. Different prospect. And I don't mind opening the laptop every day if the day is, I get to choose what I'm working on. But if it is, if I wake up in the morning thinking, right, I've got this, and this, I have to get these things done today, that I think is when it becomes too much. And I do think to a certain extent that's the life of a freelance business owner. And I kind of think I know that you're the same.
It's just always so much to do, and I was thinking, as I say, when I was delivering the session on Friday, that all these people in my team, why is it that I've still got so much to do, and how on earth did I get all this stuff done before I had all these people? Granted, I think maybe sort of bringing people into your team is a bit like, that old saying when they say, the space, things expand to fill the space available.
Absolutely.
I think there is a bit of that. I think there is a bit of that. I do more things in my business because I've got more people, and the business expands to fill the space available because, there are a lot of things. There are lots of pieces
totally.
to the business now.
Completely and absolutely. And I think I am definitely of the realization now that the biggest bottleneck in my business is me. Actually, I need to get some stuff out the way, or I need to give up the ghost on some stuff that I'm planning to do in order to hand it over to the people that are sitting there going, well, come on. You've got me here to do stuff for you. Let me get on and do. But anyway, that's another story. But I think you're right. I think you do expand what's going on in the business to suit the fact that you have these people helping you. I say these people, I'm one of them. But the team that you've got to support you are there to do a job. You've taken them on to do a job, and then, as very often happens, they do that job, and then you say, oh, actually, can you do this bit or try that bit? And sometimes it's a fit and sometimes it isn't, we're in terms of what people do for you. But I think the fact that you've still got a lot on, I think is just, it's because it's different stuff. It's not the same stuff that you're doing now because other people are doing that sort of stuff for you. What you're doing is different stuff. Plus you've expanded your offering hugely, certainly since the early days. Because there are two completely brand new programs in the Complete Trainer and More Than Membership that I don't think you'd have even had the capacity to think about previously.
No. And the mastermind as well.
Exactly. How can we forget Transform as well? Exactly. So those are three pretty chunky things that are new to your business that you wouldn't have been able to do if you were still trying to do all the other stuff that you were doing. And they're all fee earning things. They're not freebies that you're doing. So it's good. business growth.
It is good. It's all good. I'm not complaining, but it's just kind of sometimes I just sort of think, oh, it'd be so nice to just go and sit in the garden or whatever, you know. But anyway.
But you'll find time to do those things as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. So yeah, so how about your week then? So I know that your week was far more exciting than mine was.
Yeah, in more ways than one, for sure.
Yeah.
So we've talked before about my investment in personal development in myself this year was to join the Certified Master Persuader program. And that sort of came to a head last week, although there is still a little bit more going on. I am now officially allowed to call myself a certified master persuader because I've done all the components and got access to everything and done the final exam, such as it was, and all the rest of it. And then last week was a 2-day online conference. I say 2 days, it's 2 afternoons, so 12 till 6 on Tuesday and Wednesday, called Persuade Live, run by Bushra Azar, and obviously sent out to all her people and all the rest of it. There were something like 1,200 people who had registered, but only 600 or so ended up actually in the Facebook group where it was being held. So we each had we, as in the other certified master persuaders, and I had a 30-minute slot to present something to do with persuasion, but also to do with our business. So it was a kind of a double opportunity. We were promoting obviously the stuff that Bushra does and persuasion and that kind of thing, but also an opportunity to promote ourselves as well. And you know, obviously within the realms of that, there was some kind of pitch. But not a full pitch as in pitching for a paid product necessarily, because there just wasn't time in 30 minutes to deliver value and do that as well. But also we were able to direct people to get in touch with us for more. So I'd spent quite a bit of time. My specialist subject, because we had to make sure that everybody was talking about something a little bit different. Mine was on persuasive websites. So how to create tweak your website to become a persuasion powerhouse, that kind of thing, which was great. No problem at all. Right up my street in terms of the sort of stuff that I'm interested in and all that kind of stuff. So I'd done lots of research and put everything together, put together my slide deck, because it was in a Facebook group. Obviously we could stream live in there, and what we were going to do, a lot of us were streaming via Zoom, so go into Zoom and then Zoom live into Facebook. So I'd set up a practice group for us, for the other CMPs and me, so that we could practice it. There are a few people for whom it was their first ever live on Facebook, which was an incredibly scary prospect to have all that extra pressure as well. Hats off to the people that did that. It was absolutely amazing. So I got everything ready. Everything was running as it should have been, and we were keeping more or less to time. And the first day went, and that was great. Second day came along, and there was Bushra doing her bit, and then there were 2 or 3 people speaking for me. I was the last person before the afternoon break, and 10 minutes before my allotted start time of 2 o'clock, I'd gone into the practice group just to check that the Zoom feed was feeding well into Facebook Live, into a group. Yep, fine, no problem. My slides were clicking through, no problem at all. Gets to 2 o'clock, I'm watching the previous presentation, just making sure that they're finished before I press start, press the button to stream live into Facebook, and the little progress bar got about a third of the way through and then stopped. And I'm thinking, oh God, okay. And at this point, I might be live, I might not, because you can't tell, because there's a lag between Zoom and Facebook. So I'm kind of standing here going, okay, all right, so I might be live, I might not be live. Let's see what's happening, blah, blah. And then it comes up, connection timed out. So it's like, okay, well, A, I know I haven't gone live at all, but B, it's timed out and it's taken a good minute to do that. And we're on a tight time scale. That's when the first message comes through into our Slack group. Jeanette, where are you? What's going on? I'm waiting for you.
No.
Right. So I try again, thinking, okay, fine, no. Try again, connection, blah, blah, blah. Gets a third of the way through, hangs there. So again, I'm like, I might be live, I might not be live. If I am live, you're going to see this in a moment. So we're going to wait here and see what's going on. Connection time's out. By this time, I'm getting messages on Facebook Messenger. I'm getting messages in the Slack group. I'm getting messages in the Facebook group, all from people going, where's Jeanette? Where's Jeanette? What's going on? What's going on? So Bushra in the Slack group said, look, I'll set up my Zoom. Come onto my Zoom and I'll take you live from mine. And I'm thinking, if it's not working for my Zoom, I don't think it's going to work for yours, but okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I put a message into the Facebook group where everybody was waiting to say, hang in there, just having some tech issues.
Yeah.
Put a message into the Slack group saying the live feed isn't working, at which point Bushra said, come on to mine. So then I went on to hers. So she's on screen, I'm on screen, and she's going, it's not working, it's not working. I said, yeah, well, it's fine, you know. These things happen, no biggie. I said, look, worst comes to the worst, I will go live direct into Facebook. And for anybody that doesn't know, if you have slides to share on a Facebook feed, if you go live directly into Facebook, you have to set the slides up beforehand, and then it will only show your slides, it won't show your face as well, and you can't flip between showing yourself and showing your slides. You have to do one or the other, and you have to set that up at the beginning. And for me, I felt it was more important for people to see my face than it was for them to see the slides. So I'm saying to Bushra, look, don't worry about it, I will go live in the group, I'll talk to people, I'll have my slides in front of me, they won't be able to see them, but I will be able to see them to talk through, and then I'll re-record it and I'll put it in the group later, which to me seems the most obvious explanation. And of course, thinking back on it, the only reason I know that is because I've done so blooming many of these things. I've had all these things go wrong previously. So it's just like, yeah, fine, whatever. Zoom and Facebook not talking. Oh, what a surprise. You know, I mean, I know that
exactly.
you and I have both gone on that particular merry-go-round.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I mean, it must have been sort of 6, 7, 8 minutes late by this point. Meanwhile, people in the Slack group who are all involved in the background, the CMPs and admin people and that, all knew that, you know, there was a technical issue and all the rest of it. So Syra, who was doing the admin side of things, had gone into the group to say, don't worry, you know, she's on the way, etc., etc. And then I just went direct and did the Facebook live feed direct. But because it's a Facebook live direct, I can only see some of the comments coming up. So I tuned in on my laptop as well, but I could only see some of the comments coming up on the laptop. So I know people are making comments, but it's not showing on the Facebook feed. It's not showing up on my laptop.
Why does it do that?
So it's just like, okay,
have that problem.
You know. So I'm talking and I'm thinking, I'm asking people questions to get the engagement, as you do on a virtual live training session. And it's like, I know people are answering, but I haven't got a clue what they're saying. So you know, I'll just carry on. It's fine. So it was just one of those kind of, well, you know, what else can go wrong? The internet will break, or you know, it's fine. It's not a problem.
But I watched it and it was totally brilliant, and it was absolutely fine, and you handled it perfectly. And mind you, you know, I didn't even really realise all of this debacle because I was late. Because I thought it was at 2. I thought it was at 2:30, and turns out it was at 2. So I merrily sort of, and then I don't know how I realised that it was live, because I must have seen, I don't know what. But then I'm like, oh, she's there, right? Okay. So I joined at the right time anyway. So that was fine.
Exactly. So you didn't miss anything, and it was great.
I didn't miss anything.
You know, the funny thing was, whilst I'm live, obviously the Slack channel is open as well. So I'm getting all these comments I can see popping up in the bottom right corner of my screen. Oh my God, Jeanette's amazing. I can't believe she managed to do that. Oh, she's awesome. Such a rock star. Oh, I like this. So I'm trying not to laugh at the fact that all these people are going, oh my God, I could never have done this. I'd have died if this happened to me. Whilst I'm trying to concentrate on my slides and keep the energy up, because of course it's just me talking to camera at this point. So I've got to keep people engaged in what's going on. So when it finished, I was just like, oh man. I am knackered now, so tired. And I'd been tired anyway, and, you know, for all the usual gubbins reasons and what have you. So it's like, right, now I have to re-record with the slides so that people see it. And I know that the recording with the slides was okay, but it didn't have as much energy as I'd had the first time around, because by that point, the day had gone and I was just so totally drained and exhausted. But these things happen.
All exciting stuff, and I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely fine without the slides. You know, I thought you know, you came over, as I think, as I said in a message to you, just you struck that really nice balance of being really enthusiastic and, and sort of up tempo, but professional at the same time, which I think can be a hard balance to strike. Because sometimes when people are a bit kind of over, they get a bit, and it kind of loses that professionalism. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I just thought you did. I thought it was really, really good. So
thank you.
All is not lost.
Exactly. It's
this whole thing about.
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
I was just
this whole thing about Facebook comments is just, I don't know why it does that regularly. When I do Trainer Talk Insider, I will just, and obviously I do it on my big Mac. And I go in there, and most of the time I can't see the comments. So I always have it ready on my phone so that I can just look at the group and look at that, and they always come through on my phone, but they don't always come up on the computer. But I don't know why.
I know, it's very odd. It's very odd. And then even as I finished the live, I could see, I went, and I think you could hear me in the thing going, oh goodness, 57 comments or whatever. I'll have to look at those. And then as soon as I'd finished the live and actually went into the group again and what have you, and it's like there's 157 comments. Oh, okay, that's a few more than I thought. Might take me a bit of a while to get round to that. But I got it on my phone as well, but you can only see it in real time, so I couldn't keep track of everything, and with the slight delay and all the rest of it. So it's just like, okay, fine, whatever. But it's fine, because what it also means, I've got screenshots not only of the lovely comments that people were making, but also I've got screenshots of the real-time comments coming up in the Slack group as well, which means that at some point in the future I'm also going to be able to put together a course with and in the marketing include, this is how you handle it when it all goes horribly wrong. And I can tell that story of, everything that's going on in the Slack and everything that's going on, front of house, so to speak. And people go, oh, where is she? Oh, there she is. Oh, jolly good. Here's the live. And then back of house, wah! All that kind of stuff going on.
And things will go wrong. I mean, I'm just so relaxed now about it, because I know when I first started doing webinars and things, and when Amy and Ryan were so much younger, and I would like literally, don't come in and don't do that, and I could hear them like from my study was there, and I could hear them in the kitchen like arguing, and I was like, oh, and then Jen barked, and I was so stressed and so uptight and worried about things recording, and I'm worried about this going wrong, and now I just don't, because I just think, because things will, with the best will in the world, things just do go.
Of course they do.
Things go
of
wrong.
course they do.
Can't really do anything about it. And I think most people kind of understand that, and I think I've seen other people when it happens to them, and I've seen other people and how they handle it. And their response quite a lot of the time is out of all proportion to how the other people are actually perceiving it. And actually most people, they don't worry about it, because they just think, oh, okay, tech issues, Jeanette's not responsible for that. That is just, it's Facebook or whatever. It's not your fault. So I think people just
they do.
Don't worry about
it. They completely do. And like I said, I've done enough of these to have pretty much everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. On these, I've had the stream dropping. I've gone back in a panic and actually ended up delivering to my personal Facebook as opposed to in a group. Done that at least twice. I've had Zoom not working and slides not clicking forward as they should have done. I've had my computer has closed down completely in the middle of doing something. No idea whether that was a power cut or what, that kind of thing. And then this last week is just one of a list of many things that have gone wrong whilst doing these things. And you kind of get to the point where it's just like, okay. And people were saying to me in the Slack channel, how are you so calm? It's like, because I've been here before. It's not worth worrying about.
It's not worth and I think just being honest, the number of times I've been doing a PowerPoint thing and my slide just gets stuck for no reason, and you're pressing it and you go da, 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 and it will not move, and you just have to go, okay, so that slide just doesn't want to move for whatever reason.
Exactly.
And then the next minute, and then you just thought, the next minute you just happen to press it again and it works.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
how has that happened?
Completely.
Because I've been pressing it about 6 times and it didn't work, and now it's working.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
like,
And again, I mean, it's interesting. I think this is part of the reason why people can take so long to get pre-records done as well, because they have this feeling that it has to be perfect. And it's like, yeah, you have more opportunity to correct mistakes like your slides not working or whatever in a pre-record. But that doesn't mean that you should aim for perfection, A, because it doesn't exist, and B, because you'll spend years trying to get something recorded perfectly. And actually people like the human element. They like to see a little bit of the mask slipping or a little bit behind the scenes, that kind of thing. That's why I'm so glad I've got all the stuff from the Slack channel, because it's a total behind the scenes. This is what happens when a live goes wrong. People love that kind of stuff. So it's like brilliant. That's definitely going into my marketing for the future.
Brilliant.
So that was kind of the majority thing that happened last week. Everything else seems to sort of pale by comparison.
Pales into insignificance, doesn't it?
Exactly. So should we move on to the top of mind topic for today?
Yes, I kind of think that we had a top of mind by sort of proxy there, didn't we? Because that was a good top of mind, which was about what to do when things go wrong in your lives. But because we're all about value, we'll add an additional topic, which has been on my mind for a few weeks, and that is the whole thing of social media. Is social media just a complete waste of time?
Is it a gigantic resource waste? Go on then.
The reason why I'm saying that, I was watching some training course video, as I do, and about social media, and this person was saying that that basically your social media, ironic as it was a social media course, and she did actually point out the irony. But she was talking about the fact that her business only really took off once she started advertising and using Facebook. And basically, she was saying that, do you know what? It's not your social media posts that get your business. It's advertising. So it's your social media advertising. So you're advertising on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I just suddenly started thinking about this, and started thinking, do you know what? Actually, all these sort of, big, internet marketers, gurus, all the rest of it, they invest heavily, obviously, in advertising, and they've got the budget to do that. But you don't, and that's all they generally do on social media. You don't really see that much. It's just really, a lot of it is about the advertising. And I thought, oh, that's really, really interesting, and I can see that. And then I started thinking about all the problems that people have had in the train and talk community, particularly around LinkedIn, because a lot of people in the community are big LinkedIn users, and complaining about the fact that they put things on LinkedIn and that they don't get seen and all the rest of it. And the curious thing that's really happening on LinkedIn, which drives me mad at the moment, I don't know whether you've noticed this, but this trend, obviously, is, the algorithms are supporting this, or some guru might have taught them that, to do personal stuff on LinkedIn. And what seems to be happening on LinkedIn is that a normal post around something of value, a really, really good, meaty, very, very, useful topic around some particular, business topic, doesn't get any traction whatsoever. Somebody will put a picture up of their daughter who just got into Harvard, or a picture of their grandfather who just died from coronavirus or whatever, and it gets masses of comments and likes and things like that. And so that seems to be happening, and that's making me feel really uncomfortable, because I am all about the connection, as you know. I definitely get the personal relationships, but the way I'm seeing it happening at the moment is that it's really being manipulated on LinkedIn, and people, I feel, are deliberately putting that type of post on there, and it's coming across as a bit inauthentic and a bit insincere. So that's, really making me kind of not sure about that.
Yeah.
So clearly, so there's all that going on. And the other thing, I am thinking about people, I won't mention names, obviously, but there are people in my mastermind group that I run, obviously, my Transform Mastermind group, who, one of the things they have to do in the dashboard, they have to put in their, their figures and their turnover and all the rest of it. So I know what their businesses are turning over. And some of them are just quite staggering, phenomenal.
Mm.
And these particular people, they don't go on LinkedIn.
Mm.
They don't go on social media. They'll have a profile, but they barely post anything on there. And I'm kind of thinking, for your average trainer, who, is obviously the person who will be listening to this, bearing in mind, you're not a big internet marketing guru with a massive, budget. You're probably going to feel slightly uncomfortable about putting, personal stuff out there just for the sake of it. You've got good business related information that you want to share that's not being seen by LinkedIn or Facebook and all the rest of it because of the algorithms. And I'm just thinking, is social media for the average trainer or training business owner just a gigantic waste of time?
Ta-da! Yeah, discuss.
Yeah. And shall we just all start recognizing that?
Yeah.
Because
I think, I think that social media serves many different purposes. And I think you need to be clear on what you're trying to use it for and what you're trying to get out of it in order to understand whether or not it's a waste of time for you. So I think that going on to social media to participate in, for example, the Trainer Talk community group or the Get That Gang group, I don't think that's a waste of time because that is about community and it's about helping and it's about providing value. However, if I look at my newsfeed in Facebook, it is probably 95% either adverts or posts from people that I barely know talking about things that I'm really not that interested in. Right. And I have to scroll down and down and down and down and down to find something that I'm genuinely interested in. So I make sure that the notifications on the groups that I do want to hear about are turned on to all posts and go in and make sure that that's, up to date regularly because Facebook does like to change these things for you. But generally speaking, my actual news feed is a bit of a wasteland and it's almost the same as my news feed on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is full of posts from people that I barely know. If at all, it's just people that have ended up being, connected. Oh, that reminds me, I had a request from somebody the other day. It was clearly a sales one and saying, well, seeing as we have mutual connections like Sharon Gaskin, I thought I'd write to you to let you know what sort of things Sharon and other people are taking advantage of with my business. And I'm looking going, I know for a fact you don't work with Sharon. But anyway, I thought that was a good one. Yeah, exactly. But, it's one of those things where if I wanted to build an audience, where would I go? For my business at the moment, actually, I would do Facebook rather than LinkedIn. I have barely been on LinkedIn at all. I get messages from some clients there because that's how they prefer to communicate. That's fine. If I happen to randomly see a post from somebody that I know, that I like, that I think, I'm going to support what they're saying about this thing. And there are a few people that, do use it quite regularly and I am more likely to see their posts. Then I'll go, I'll give them a like or a celebrate or whatever that's on there. I think LinkedIn suffers because it doesn't really know what it's there to do. It's still trying to pretend that it's there as a job site for people. And it's like you really need to realise that there are so many people on LinkedIn who aren't looking for jobs. Yes, there are a proportion of people that use it for that. But you need to find, as in LinkedIn, you need to find a better way of siphoning off those people to give them that. But for everybody else, it's not about that. It's about trying to find business. And it does feel like the majority of people that are on LinkedIn are there to try and find business from other people on LinkedIn, as opposed to trying to be there to deliver, words of wisdom about being in business, if that makes sense. So, you know, I think LinkedIn has a bit of a problem in terms of what its personality is supposed to be, and its algorithm is just shot. It's awful.
Oh,
So,
it's just, you know, I just sort of think they don't make it easy.
No.
Like the algorithm, as we know, is you can't get things seen unless, you know, you put pictures of your children up there or whatever. That seems
I
to be
might
a flavour
struggle
of the
with
month
that
for
one.
now.
Yeah, I think I'd struggle
Yeah,
with
right.
that one.
You know, and that is, and clearly that's, you know, that is an algorithm that's out there at the moment, because it suddenly seems to have decided after all these years that saying, and you get all these snobs going, LinkedIn is not like Facebook, it's not Facebook. And now LinkedIn is trying to deliberately turn itself into Facebook, not only with the algorithms, but, you know, now they've introduced stories as well. I don't know if you've seen that. So they've introduced that. So people are doing that. They've introduced video and all this kind of thing. And I'm just thinking, you know, you've got an identity crisis now, because now you are behaving like Facebook, and also you're taking away, and this has been one of my big bugbears about LinkedIn for a long time, is that, you know, you can't share anything, because if you use the share button, then it just doesn't get seen. So what is the point of having the share button in the first place if you don't want people to use
completely.
it?
It's LinkedIn is I think let's put a pin in LinkedIn and put it to one side. Otherwise we will both go down into a spiral of you know, why we hate LinkedIn so much. But I think in terms of other social media, I don't use Instagram at all. I mean, at all. I have an account, and every now and again I might see, you know, 2 or 3 people that I'm following apparently, and that's only on my iPad. I don't go into it on my desktop here at all, unless somebody has posted something on another channel and they've reshared something from Instagram, in which case I have to go into Instagram in order to read it if I'm interested. But that's once in a blue moon. Don't use it at all. Don't use Twitter at all, not to broadcast out. Occasionally I will look and see what's going on, but that's more, you know, catching up with people that I follow, as in well-known celebrity, for want of a better word, type people, not for work stuff. So the main place that I do work stuff actually is on Facebook, and you know, and that's fine by me. I don't mind that, but is it a gigantic waste of time? It can be. If I were to try and use it to grow my business outside of where I'm already at and already established, then that would have to be Facebook ads. And it's you know, it's not something I'm discounting. I've used Facebook ads in the past, but you know, I would use it in a very specific way, to try and get attention from the people that I'm trying to get attention from. But honestly, I mean, you know, I think there's an awful lot of people out there that don't know how to target their ads in Facebook, which, you know, I'm not being derogatory to those people at all, because the Facebook Ads Manager thing is not an easy place to navigate.
Really isn't.
So you know, if you do get it wrong, or you are too broad, or you end up sending me something that's just like, I'm not interested in network marketing. Why are you know, oh well, it thinks people who look like their customers. I look nothing like your customers. I'm not interested in network marketing. But you know, just very odd things, and you think, I can see why you've ended up targeting me, but I'm not your audience, and I'm not going to buy. So you know, it's one of those things where you sort of think, is it a necessary evil? I don't think it's evil. I think it's got a lot going for it. It has enabled me to stay in touch with some people that I probably would have drifted apart from. It's also enabled some people to stay in touch with me where I would have been quite happy for them to drift away from my life. But you know, I think it has the possibility to be a waste of time unless you are very focused with what you're doing on there. And I know, I mean, we've got people in the Train and Talk community who say, I only come onto Facebook to go into this community, and that's it. Okay, that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. I know quite a few people that have come out of social media completely, or you know, they have chosen a different channel. So I know somebody I used to work with only does stuff on Twitter now. Ironically, her dog has an account on Facebook and actually gets more influencer type requests than she does on Twitter, which she was bemoaning this
That's
morning.
the whole thing about it. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, but I don't know. It was just a question for discussion, really, because I mean, I do think the landscape of social media has changed considerably. Over the last few years, and is changing all the time, and it is becoming more targeted, more advertisement heavy. And I think there's no getting away from that. And I suppose my concern was that, and again, because I know that a lot of members of the Trainers Hub community are really, they're all over LinkedIn and they're putting a post in there every day, and people are commenting and all the rest of it, putting an awful lot of time into it. And I'm just been sitting here thinking, I don't know, does that actually
honestly
get you any business? Because,
I think it comes down to your email list. I really do.
Yeah.
So if you are using social media to get people onto your email list, that is the most profitable way to use social media, unless you already have a community that you are growing on there, and you're choosing to use that as the place where your community gathers. Or you're choosing to use it to have a pop-up community for a program that you're running, like you and I've got for at the moment for the Complete Trainer, although that's changing, but you've got for More Than Membership, you've got a Facebook community for that, right, and one for Transformers and that kind of thing. So I think it's as long as you're clear as to what you're doing and how you're using it, then fine. But I think trying to build a following outside of your own email list on social media, I think is an incredibly hard task, actually, and not for the faint-hearted, and I would hazard to say not for those who aren't prepared to invest in advertising to do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, interesting question, and we'd love to know, listeners, we would love to know your thoughts and opinions around this. Is social media becoming a gigantic waste of time, or do you still feel that it has value in business? We'd love to know.
Absolutely.
So let us
know, please. Sure, all the usual places. All right, so Dog Walking Digest, Sharon, how's Jem?
She's all right. Yeah, she's really adapting very nicely to her new routine, which doesn't involve plodding up the hill anymore. So actually, she seems like a much happier dog. But I had a little incident earlier on in the week. Apparently, it wasn't me. It didn't involve me, but involved my husband, Jim. He took Jem down onto the beach, but parked the car down there. And some bloke sort of waylaid him and had a little chat with him and said, "Oh, did you know that there have been loads of dog thefts around here recently?"
Oh, wow.
Apparently, because of I kind of knew this, that because of the pandemic, dogs cost a fortune now. But what I didn't know is that a lot of them are being pinched, certainly in our area, which is a bit of a concern. I was just sort of like, nobody would want Jem anyway. So she's 14 and a half, it's like, don't really want that one. But can you imagine these sort of valuable sort of cockapoo puppies and things like that would be I can see when they're costing about 3-4 grand at the moment.
Totally. So, there was something saying that dog thefts have risen like 250% or something crazy. And again, I mean, just glancing back to what we were talking about on social media, that is one of the things that can be very powerful, is when people have had something like that, like a dog or a cat stolen, or their dog or cat has gone missing or whatever. Social media can be very powerful for that. If only we could get all the blooming adverts out of the way so we can see those posts to share it. But it is, I mean, dog theft particularly has been a real problem throughout the pandemic. But yes, I think you and I are in the same place. I don't think anybody would want Scamp, because his breeding days are gone. He's got nothing to breed with anymore. But getting on a bit now.
Oh. Bless. So is that anything to report from you from Dog Walking Digest this week, or
Saturday? No. Saturday morning, so early morning, Friday night into Saturday morning. So I was saying to you before we came on air that I decided to go up to Mum's on Friday night, as opposed to normally I would go up sort of Saturday early afternoon, that kind of thing, because it's our social bubble and blah blah blah, and I get Sunday roast, so who can complain? But I decided to go up on Friday night this week because the forecast for Saturday, as we have already covered, was horrific. So I thought, well, there's no point. I've got like a little postage stamp of a garden, which he's happy to go into last thing at night, mainly to chase off any cats that might be around. There was one in the garden the other day, and it scarpered pretty smart. He was like, let me at it, let me at it. Like, oh dear, you must be a new kitten around these parts because you won't come in here again. But that's beside the point. Going up to Mum's meant that on Saturday, if the weather had been completely foul, then at least he can go into their garden to relieve himself and all the rest of it. And if he doesn't get a walk because it's just ridiculously awful, then, you know, at least he can get out there. It's all fine. And I'd have been going up there anyway. But on Friday night, theirs is quite a hot house anyway, and they don't have, you know, they're not like some elderly people who have sort of heating on all over the place, and it's really stifling. But it is a hot house anyway. So normally just have one of the windows slightly ajar just to get a throughput of air and that kind of thing. But for some reason on Friday night going to bed, couldn't get my door to close properly, and it doesn't catch very well anyway, but it just wouldn't close properly. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just leave it and have it slightly ajar, all the rest of it. Well, I regretted that at 4:20 on Saturday morning, when the wind and the rain and whatever else was going on was battering the front of the house. You could hear it because it was coming through the room that I stay in is at the front, because it was coming through where the window was slightly ajar, sort of on the latch, and then of course that was making the door tap.
Oh, no.
And also all the noises from the house that Scamp wouldn't normally hear. So things like the airing cupboard is pretty much outside the bedroom door. So you hear all the creaks and groans from the hot water tank and all that kind of thing. So you wouldn't normally hear that. But anytime the wind dropped, the door was slightly ajar, so you could hear it. So Scamp, of course, 4:20, doesn't like the wind and the rain because that might mean thunder and lightning. So he's jumping up and down from the bed, which is bad enough, but I can cope with that. What I can't cope with is when he walks around to my side of the bed, jumps up on top of me, and then jumps off the other side and keeps doing it. And I'm just like, oh man, will you just settle down? So I was, yeah, I was a bit grumpy Saturday morning.
I bet you were.
I made up for it. I made up for it on Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I had a lie-in until 9:15. I haven't slept in that late for years. That was that, yeah. But of course, then where you try and make up the sleep, the deprivation that you feel you've had, you end up feeling tired for the rest of the day and kind of out of kilter a little bit, don't you? Because you're not up at the same time that you would normally be up. But that was fun. So I bet your bottom dollar I made sure the window was shut on Saturday night.
Oh.
And actually the door would close properly from the outside. So I got Mum to basically shut us in so that the door wouldn't be going backwards and forwards. And it's like, no, I am sleeping tonight. You are not stopping me sleeping. And of course he was good as gold. Absolutely no problem at all. That is something I've noticed just as he's tipped into being 9-ish now. There are mornings now where he's not up at the crack of dawn going, come on, we need to go out, you need to feed me. He's quite happy to have a little bit of a longer sleep, but that's just where he's getting older. He's fine.
Absolutely. You literally have to drag Jem out of her bed, literally have to put the lead on her and drag her out of bed, and then she takes ages to actually get out of bed and to get her, then she stands there and then she has a shake, and then she's like, oh, okay, finally, I know.
Bless
her. Bless her little heart.
And on that note, any more, Sharon?
No, but just to say, obviously, well, by the time you are listening to this, we will be at Training Sort Live.
Yes.
So
very exciting. I know it's come round again so quickly.
It really has come round again so quickly. So we'll be virtual again, but we are, we're used to the routine now. These virtual Training Sort Live. So very much looking forward to that. Yes. So next week we will be able to report back on all the excitement, all the fun. as it were. So,
definitely looking forward to that. Can't wait. Brilliant. All right, well, thank you as per normal, lovely listeners, lovely viewers, for your time and patience. Viewing figures are going up on YouTube, by the way. I didn't want to,
really.
So yeah, you're not getting away with it now. But thank you for listening / watching, if that's what you're doing. You are very much appreciated. So let us know your thoughts on anything that you've heard in today's episode, and we will speak to you again next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.